Hey now, you're listening to the VoIP Users Conference from the IP Communications and VoIP community. We're at vuc.me on the web. I'd like to extend our thanks to Simwood.com. Simwood's API can turn a developer into a telco. Our hosted PBX and support is provided by onsip.com. The website is hosted at bluehost.com. Where would we be without ZipDX, full-featured HD audio conference bridge? And localrate.net is provided by voxbone.com. And of course, thanks to all of you participants who make this worth doing. All right, you have actually been able to find the VoIP Users Conference number 502. And Jerry, I think you keep popping in with some background noise there. We're going to be talking to Alan Quayle in a second. I want to thank all of our sponsors and everyone who participates. This is a fantastic thing. I'm drunk with the 502 sessions that we've done, literally, not literally, but it's just fantastic, and we're really pleased to have a great, great core membership and a whole bunch of people who have joined us. As I noted on Google+, we've had everybody from Captain Crunch to the CTO of the Federal Communications Commission. So I think, and everybody in between, you know, people from Counterpath, and if I start naming them, Polycom, let's not, because the list it would take me an hour to read that list. Alan Quayle, you are someone who has put together some meetings that are platform independent that are absolutely fantastic. And I was in Madrid. It seems like, in one way it seems like 20 years ago, and in another way it seems like 2 days ago, but it was fantastic. Let's talk about TADHack in Madrid, and let's talk about what's coming up with TADSummit.
Yep, thanks so much, Randy. And yeah, thanks for all your help and promotion of what we did with TADHack and we're doing with TADSummit. I mean, you were invaluable in terms of help there. So let me just give you a little bit of a debrief, and please, Andy, James, join in as I sort of review what happened. So I'll just give you the numbers, because the numbers are easiest to understand. When we planned TADHack, we thought, well, maybe we'll see like 100, 150 people, you know, sort of involved. We ended up with around 700 registrations. We had about 500 people on the day. Now, of course, that wasn't just in Madrid. Madrid was the hub, but we had a number of satellites as well in Sri Lanka, in the Philippines, Malaysia, in Pune in India, Chicago, and of course, remote entries as well. And we ended up with about 60 hacks, and we had around $26,000 in prize money to distribute. It was basically a grand per prize, so we had a lot of winners. I think one of the things that, for me, yeah, it's obvious, but it's not until you see it demonstrated so clearly, is the fact that team diversity. The winners were those that had teams that weren't just programmers. It also included product people. It included user experience people. Because when they gave their pictures, it wasn't just, here's how we use the technology. They gave the whole picture in terms of the use case, the problem it solved, and really enabled very effective communication. And there were some great hacks. And they're all up on the YouTube TADHack channel, which, you know, I have to be honest, I don't watch that much video content. I mean, there's a lot of content, video content produced. I don't watch that much, but the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, the TADHack YouTube channel, we've got around 21,000 minutes of viewing already. There's been around 6,000 views. Some of the popular videos have been viewed nearly 1,000 times. Now, I know that's a pathetic number compared to the 2 billion of Gangnam Style, but still, for basically telco geeky stuff, that's a really good number. So that hopefully gives you a feel for just the raw numbers. I mean, it was the biggest telecom app developer event so far. We're hoping for 2015 to have something that's even bigger and better. Some great plans there. But before we get to TADHack 2015, we have coming up in November in Istanbul on the 12th and the 13th. We've got TADSummit. Now, let me just explain why we had these two different events. TADHack is solidly focused on developers and technology and just all the cool stuff, all the innovations that can come out of it. TADSummit is really the business side. How do we get this to market? So that's really where we're focused with TADSummit. We've just launched the website. Got an amazing lineup of speakers, including, of course, James Bodie on the call here, but also Kirill, who's the CMO, COO of Axiata Group. They have around 250 million subscribers, so that's a big group. We also have Anthony, the CMO from Dialogue. We're hoping to get finalized. It's the dog days of summer. Nobody wants to respond to their emails, but we're going to have a couple of very senior figures from the Middle East. And it's not just telcos. I mean, of course, we've got virtually every telco API or platform player either sponsoring or as a partner of TADSummit. We also have a number of over-the-top guys. So we have Roy, CEO of Fring. So we're really trying to bring together a great diversity of people for 2 intense days in Istanbul. Now, the summit, we're really trying to create with the summit, not just people coming together and just listening to PowerPoint. I mean, we are going to have some case studies, and they're all going to be real case studies around business success, deployment success. We'll have, for example, Gilles Cobert from Orange Liban explaining how within the large organization and conservative organization that is Orange, he's created something very cool. I'm here in the US, I use Liban. So it's a great service. He'll be explaining how he managed to achieve his success. And we're just going to have lots of case studies, but we've also got 6 different work streams. So we're going to be doing a lot of interactive stuff. There'll be a work stream leader focused around addressing specific issues. For example, the latest TADSummit weblog, so if you go to blog.tadsummit.com, you'll see from Mark from Locatrix. He'll be leading the IPR and service innovation work stream because as we move out of just the bog standard telephony related services and we start doing cool stuff that brings together communications and the web, there are quite a few trolls out there. And understanding how to manage that. And I mean, that's part of what we're trying to do with TADS is create a viable, profitable ecosystem. What can we do together to address these issues that will come up as we explore more and more new services? So that's an example of one of the work streams. So it gives a chance for people that want to understand that in a little bit more detail to come together and work on those topics. So hopefully that gives you a quick overview of what we achieved with TADHack. And again, thanks to everybody on the call here for making it the success it was, and hopefully gives you a flavor of what we're trying to do in November with TADSummit. Okay, Randy?
Excellent, Alan. I know you have to run, but did you give a URL? And if you did, forgive me, but since this is audio, what's the easiest way for people to take a look at the 2 nearest coming events? That would be TADSummit and TADHack, maybe for next year even. Yep. TADHack.com works for...
That's it, and TADSummit.com works for the summit. So
there you go. Dead simple.
It's that simple. So we have basically those 2 domains. And we have the blog, so and of course we have TADShack on Twitter and TADSummit as well on Twitter, so you can follow those both of them, and you'll be able to get all the latest updates. For example, we had an update on TADHack today, actually. The winners of TADHack Philippines, Bango and Marta, basically they were describing their hack, what it did, what technologies they used, and where they're going to take that hack in the future. So we'll be doing lots more of those developer spotlights, sharing basically not just the technology, how they built the apps, but also sharing more insights around the people and also where they're trying to take their hacks in the future.
Alan, I think it's worth mentioning that one of the things that you're doing that's really excellent is the satellite thing, where people are coming in. I mean, after all, everyone who's probably even listens to this call, let alone the people who are participating, we're on a video call right now. I mean, right. We all know about this stuff, and you've got to eat your own dog food. And I don't know how many of you know this, but I barged into the ClueCon presentation for just a couple of minutes, and they put that up, and apparently I'm told that it actually worked, that the sound was fine and all that. And this is just fantastic. And since I was in Madrid, I know that that part worked, and that the satellite things all over the world, people were coming in. And this is one of the things that really separates TADHack. I don't know about TADSummit. I haven't been to one yet. But TADHack, that is the main thing that was really super impressive, besides the quality of the presentations, obviously.
Thank you so much. It is. I mean, we've got to eat our own dog food, and it has risks, but overall it worked. And I think that it is a global phenomenon. I think that one of the things with telecoms, and we don't really appreciate it, is you can reach 6 billion people on the planet with their mobile phone. It's as simple as that. No other platform has that reach. Now, yes, in a decade or two, internet penetration will most probably reach a similar level of penetration. But guess what? Communications, that ubiquitous communications app. There's going to be a whole range of them. So I think the power of telecoms will remain, at least for the next decade, now that we've made it programmable. I think this provides amazing opportunities for businesses, for any application developer, to create ubiquitous experiences through using both messaging and voice.
Okay, let's just see if James has anything he wants to say, since he was there and he was a major part of it.
I was there, and it was an absolutely brilliant event. Thank you, Alan. Just a quick question about TADSummit. If you could attract any three people, individuals or types of people, what would those three types be that you haven't already got? So who are your targets for TADSummit?
Yeah, so we're really trying to bring the whole ecosystem together. So the three are telcos, because they're a channel to market, and they basically run the networks, and basically it's a $2 trillion industry. All the vendors, the technology providers, the service providers, because that line between offering a technology and providing a service is getting more and more blurred. And of course, all the application developers. Now, of course, because it's more business focused, it's more the sort of the business side of the telecom application developers. So it tends to be the larger telecom application developers, or some of the celebrities, like Ben Klang, our good friend Tim, those guys that cover both aspects. They've got a head that can understand the technology, but also can understand the business application side as well. So it's really trying to get telecom app developers, celebs, getting a whole range of telcos to understand how they need to be part of this community. And of course, we have, I think, 14 different sponsors now. So virtually all the technology providers, service providers in the space are coming together to work together to help build this community around telecom app development.
Brilliant.
Thanks,
okay, thanks, Alan. We're going to bring in the film strip, and Alan, you can stay as long as you want, but I know you wanted to, you had things
my family to race off to, but again, thank you so much, Randy, for the opportunity.
All right, talk to you soon.
Give an update. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, then we're bringing in the film strip, so theoretically on YouTube in about a minute, everybody will see everybody. So I hope you guys are wearing pants, or at least shorts. And now we are left to our own devices. Who wants to? I'm sorry, I'm blithering here because I was trying to get the different apps happening here. We've been testing a really cool app, I should mention, maybe, called Slack. Create name. At slack.com, and we used it to organize this session, and I think it's fantastic. So I hope everybody will jump on that. Jerry, you're familiar with it? Jerry, you missed our big Bluetooth LE. Terrible. We missed you. We're getting a return from you, Michael, by the way. I don't know why that.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Fife is here twice on ZipDX.
Back in February.
Well, I missed it yesterday, so I thought I'd come 2 times. Or last week, so I thought I'd come twice.
Double orgasm. Okay, we can do that. I
Yeah,
have.
Carl, I'm very sorry that Andy and I were in Chicago. Oh, he failed to take you out to dinner.
I know
Very,
that was. I'm not quite sure how that happened. I wasn't paying attention to timing and stuff. Otherwise, I would have taken it on myself.
yeah, well, things are just so busy. Every single meal slot was booked, and after being in Chicago for a week, I couldn't eat. Andy's put on about 2 stone as well.
Actually, I'm sorry to disappoint you there, James. I think I might actually have lost weight.
Where's that echo coming from?
Echo.
Echo. So we all have.
I don't hear any echo.
I do.
No, everybody's hearing it except you're the only one that's not hearing it, so that should be a clue.
How's that?
Silence. Then there's
A little better?
1, 2. Yeah, gone.
3, 4.
Yeah, that would appear to have killed it off quite nicely. Well done.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when we have echo, it seems like there's a shortage of shame. I think it must be caused by if we increase the shame level, it seems to go away.
Yeah. That's why you have to call people out by their names. Anyway.
And to endorse what Randy was talking about earlier in terms of Slack, it's a really interesting implementation of a chat service using HTML5. And the real thing about these things is the way that they all integrate together. I mean, that at the moment has integrations for a multitude of other applications. None of them at the moment seem to be communication channels, but I'm sure that'll soon be added to it in terms of some form of WebRTC integration. And this, I think, is the sort of thing that we're starting to see much more around, is the way that all these things are integrating together. So you can get Dropbox integrated to a chat service, integrated to some WebRTC type client. And it makes the whole communications experience completely different. It's moved to another level.
I think we can maybe show this just by a simple screen share, if I can remember how to do this. And I think this is it here. So this is, of course, I had to find a channel that didn't have any porn on it, but I think I got one here. So this is what we were talking with. I asked Alan to put in a few URLs, and this is what it looks like. But you know what? You don't really get this from you don't. Yeah, there's a bot that says funny things too, but I don't think you're seeing that because you're not. I'm not on the right screen for that. Anyway, enough of the screen share. There's just something about it that's right. Wouldn't you agree, Andy? I mean, it's just simple. It didn't require a lot of figuring out, and it's got things divided into topics and channels, and it works. It works. I'm seriously considering. I think we should give this a real serious test.
Well, if it's HTML5, we probably could integrate it into JVB.
Yeah, apparently that's the thing. We'll be talking about that next week. This is, by the way, an interesting topic because there's an awful lot of this stuff out there now. Everybody in the world is doing it, and it's HTML5 and WebRTC, video, and all that. But some of them I've tried are very complex, and I signed up for about 3 or 4 of these. And 3 out of 4 were just, they're just not ready for prime time. They haven't figured out how the stuff should work in a way that makes it really easy to mess with. And what I've noticed is that when, for example, we invited Alan in, and I said, Alan, drop some URLs for what we're going to talk about on this particular topic in VUC 502, and it wasn't a big learning experience to discover the basic facilities that are available here. So I recommend it. And there's even if you follow us on Twitter, VoIP users on Twitter, I even put a thing in there, a little link to Slack, which if you click, who knows, we might even get $50 credit or something for it. And that way we'll be able to keep rolling. Although they have a free plan. I think it's important to say that.
Yeah,
There
what?
was a small group I was dealing with in February who used Slack. There were a group of developers that were distributed
Mm-hmm.
basically all around the U.S., and they had even a couple of people in the Far East, and they just used Slack as their sort of in-office IM.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, it goes quiet.
Should you want to go through a few? I think I invited them already, and we may even have a date. I don't remember. But basically, you can in our case for VUC, we have a session each week, so you can start a thing called VUC 502, which I did, and you can you can stick files in there. People could send us their presentations, for example, Michael, as we've been talking about. So what we could do is invite the guest right away. The problem always comes back to they've got to create an account. That's, I guess, the biggest deal. So they have to go to the thing, give their email, and eventually come up with a password, blah, blah, blah. And if it's for one time, maybe they don't want to do it. Whereas our core people here, those of you who are on the thing right now, obviously we're mostly on it already. So that's one little drawback. But I mean, you can't really do anything worth doing without logging in, can you?
It's pretty easy. I actually used the mobile app. They just sent me a link, and in like 3 clicks, I had an account on my phone. And then as I was running around, was tracking all of their stuff.
But you haven't joined our team yet.
I only got the link this morning.
So James, are you over the jet lag yet?
I am indeed. I was going to ask a question about the Slack. I mean, what's the business model? I just had a quick look at it. I haven't delved into it, but do you know how they intend?
Freemium. There are, if you want unlimited blah blah blah, you're paying X amount a month. Just go look at there's a pricing thing there.
Is there? I haven't dug deep enough. But
What I haven't seen on that though is what you get for the extra money. I think it's $6.67 a month per user if you pay annually, and there's an enterprise version coming next year. But there's nothing on there that seems to tell you what you get extra for it. Why it's worth.
Oh yeah, because it's limited in the number of. Excuse me, limited in the number of messages.
Okay.
So if I go there now, just go to
Randy.
slack.com.
Where is the link to the Hangout?
You mean to be a part of the panel, or to be?
Yeah.
It would be if you try to invite somebody. You should be able to invite. No.
It doesn't seem that I can. Well, hang on. Maybe not. It doesn't seem that I can.
I can put that anywhere you want it.
How about in the Hangout chat? Because I tried to pass in just the.
Hangout
I see.
Yeah, which is the last chat I ever used. Yeah.
who or what is Slackbot?
It's an auto-response.
It's an auto response. Yeah. So, why did you get one?
Well, where did it come up with shaken, not stirred?
I haven't got a clue, James.
Wow.
I reckon that's the hand of Dan Lane.
It's not, actually.
No, it's not the hand of Dan Lane.
Oh.
It is not the hand of Dan Lane. I'm looking at the pricing model. The standard is $6.67 per user per month when paid annually. What you get is a fully searchable archive with unlimited messages, where the freebie is 10,000 messages. 10,000 messages, if you were seriously using it, you'd get there really quick. 5 external integrations. Now, you saw the list of integrations, Andy. There's 50 million things you could be doing.
There are some serious omissions there still as well, but there are already about 100 of them.
A lot of them. Okay, simple usage statistics. You get for the first level of paid service, you get usage statistics, custom message retention policies, which of course we are not looking at because we don't have. You have guest access. See, there's where that's interesting. Now that's well worth something. Premium support, you know. My message didn't post when I. Okay, in development, coming soon. Google authentication, Google Apps for domain sign-in, email forwarding to create Slack files, individual user control over security policies. So it gets more sophisticated. Then for the plus 1250, I'm looking for the differences now. Detailed usage statistics. Andy didn't sign in today, and he was supposed to be working. Guest access, priority support. Oh, priority support. If you're paying $12, priority, not premium support. Priority support. External channel support. I'm not sure what that even means. Multiple single sign-on and directory service. Don't know what that means either. Configurable email ingestion. Yeah, see, so this is your enterprise stuff would be like being able to send it emails and have it put them in certain places. Now that's not a stupid idea. That's a very good idea because I've used services like that before, and that's pretty cool. Administrative control over security policies. The thing that's a little hard to understand would be the $50 to $100 to $99 per user per month when paid. I don't quite see there.
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
And there's no difference, so I'm not sure. I mean, there's literally in the chart there is no difference. So I think that's one of those call us. Call us. Anyway, worth saying, slack.com. Go look at it. If you're on Twitter, go use our link so we can get a couple of free minutes of their premium support or something. And I definitely want to invite them on because it's an interesting usage of the net. It seems to work well for us. Next topic.
Yes, Slack. Yeah, this is them. It does work well. And you can actually embed little animations and stuff in the streams. And that's
you can do all kinds of things.
Yeah, very, very interesting stuff. I already had an account, but I think I took it off my Nexus. So, hey, Nexus 6. Anybody heard the rumored specs?
No.
5.2 from Motorola, 5.2 inches.
That's what she said.
Motorola back in the frame again. That's interesting.
Yeah, which is actually a little worrying.
Yeah. Who actually owns Motorola this week?
Isn't it Google still? It is. But they've chunked it up though. They've sold off some bits.
I heard a rumor that the Nexus 6 was going to be one better than the Nexus 5. I can't confirm that, but that's what I heard. It's the Spinal Tap Association for mobile telephony.
Is it going to be a echo?
I'm reading the headline. Somebody turn that key cassette down. Reading the headlines from the Times of India tech column. Google Nexus 6 specifications leaked online.
Yeah, the only thing is,
and Tutu, Nexus 6 will have a 3 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 805 chipset. So there. What else does it say here? 5.2-inch screen, 1440 by 2560p pixel resolution. I mean, that's obscene on a handheld device. I remember the days when we used to say a high resolution screen good enough to do military map graphics. Well, it had 1 million pixels, but looking at that, I mean, that's getting on for 4.5 million pixels, and it's a handheld device. Crazy.
We'll need a new term. Terapixel.
And it's got a 30 megapixel rear camera, 2.1 megapixel front camera, and an Adreno 420 graphics processor.
Yeah, that resolution.
Yeah,
know
what,
whether
what about the Adreno?
that resolution is common to 27-inch displays.
27-inch displays.
Okay, now
Yes,
we're getting like a
Yes, now we're getting
ZDX
like a
echo.
ZDX echo.
Yeah, I'm guessing that this device will be capable of driving external screens as well. So you'll use the graphics processor in the phone to drive your external monitors, and I'm guessing you'll probably be able to add a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, so you can use the whole thing as a desktop, but a desktop that you can pick up and put in your pocket when you want.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Which
The echoes
incidentally,
coming
echoes
from
coming from
ZipDX.
ZipDX.
yeah, one thing I want to know about is what Google are going to do with the SIP VoIP client in Android, because it's been there for some time, but it's just not very good. And if you're going to put something in, you might as well do it properly. And whilst it's not particularly good, lots of over-the-top players are going to produce their own SIP clients. But if the built-in one was super duper, then perhaps they wouldn't. Comment, anyone? And all I get is a mouse.
We seem to be getting some.
Very odd.
Am I the only one hearing?
Am I the only one hearing that echo?
All right, nobody wants to comment on that. How about
It's the
has
Hangout
anybody been
itself.
watching- Yeah, has anybody been watching the Black Hat presentations from Las Vegas at all? No? Am I the only one?
I've been noticing.
I've been noticing. Yeah, there's a very interesting one about OMA DM, which is the configuration protocol that can be used by carriers and operators in order to provision and control devices. And that's a good thing to watch if you're into controlling things, particularly if you're a mobile operator. Anyway, changing the subject.
I think I may have hit the.
I
know.
Maxim was issuing forth some echo or noise. But I'm still hearing tons of echo.
Hello, Maxim. Come in, Zurich.
Hold on a second.
And I'm hearing echo just in Hangout.
I think you're right.
Getting echo from James now.
Are you? Hang on, I'll turn myself down.
You know what this
I'll
is?
get a headset.
Where one of those instances Chrome has given up on its echo canceller.
Okay, let's see if that does it.
No echo at the moment.
Why, it was James!
Yeah, it was James. The echo canceller in his instance of Chrome has given up, as Emil says. If you talk for long enough with nobody else talking, Chrome's echo canceller dies off, right?
Pretty much true. And that was an interesting phone call I just received then. I've had a load of scam phone calls where they just keep ringing and they're quite often dead. And occasionally I get to speak to somebody, and James will back me up here. He's heard me doing my Basil Fawlty impressions at them down the phone. And so I've threatened several times and told them that I'm going to report them to the UK Telephone Preference Service, who can investigate and have them banned and fined and other such things. So I've just had them call me again, telling me that they are from the Telephone Preference Service, and that they understand I've had some nuisance calls, and that I won't be getting any more of those nuisance calls. Absolute rubbish. Nice try though. So they're trying to pretend to be not just the people to scam you, but also the people to stop scamming you.
So Maxim is
Oh,
asking where the
That's awesome.
Black Hat stuff is online, and it's on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been seeing it on Google Plus. In fact, I think I've posted it on Twitter as well.
Yeah, maybe I was looking for it in real time. I never looked after the event.
Yeah, just look. I would look up Black Hat on, or let me see if I can find it. I think I actually repeated one of them here. See if I can get it. I was awfully talkative today, so I'm going backwards and I don't see. Yeah, here's one. Just a second. I'll have that for you.
I was watching some of the stuff at Hope.
Can't put it in IRC though. Not sure. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. You have to look on YouTube.
Andy's comment reminded me of that comic by Gary Larson about there's a guy standing in front of his large picture window and he's holding a brick in one hand and a note wrapped around the brick and he's reading. Like he unwrapped the brick and the note said, and then the brick had obviously just come through the shattered window in front of him, and he reads the note and it says, "Bricks thrown through your window? Call Ed's Glass Repair." So.
Yeah.
Isn't that actually was lifted from the first Godfather movie, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
In the first Godfather movie, one of the kids said, his dad had a glass business, and I think it was that. I might be confusing something. We saw that recently, and so he decided he didn't want to be in the glass business, but he wanted the glass business to do well, so he went around breaking windows.
Awesome. Do any of you Wi-Fi or wireless buffs know whether the the 100 series 5 gigahertz channels are higher energy, higher radiated energy than the lower? I heard some. My recollection is that they have something to do. This is a little OT. I apologize. But I heard that they are intended for outdoor use, and so I wondered if perhaps.
No, aren't they still 100 milliwatts? Aren't they?
I don't know. I mean, I've been playing around all morning during this call because of this wonderful real-time nature of it, with with my 5 gigahertz spectrum and this Unify Wi-Fi product from Ubiquiti. That has this feature called zero handoff, and it's supposed to, what it does is it makes all of the access points coordinate, so they function like a distributed antenna system. And so they for example, broadcast the same MAC address. And basically, the long and the short of it is that it sucks. It sucks so badly that I can't even begin to describe it. I'm trying to decide who it works for. However, by bumping up, and like it's just like apparently the signal strength is just like all the clients, it just shows up as being really, really low, much different, much lower than if I was not doing this sort of zero handoff thing. And so anyway, when I switch to the outdoor frequencies, it appears that the radiated energy coming off the units is sort of measurably higher, and I wasn't sure if that was idiosyncratic or whether that was a thing.
There's actually a thing where certain frequencies you are allowed to radiate more power than others.
Is that right?
So I know that. Yeah, so I know in the 2.4 bands, once there are some rules about that you can do more directed energy by using things like Yagis and stuff like that.
Yep.
Versus say like 900 or 5.8 gig. I'm not sure about the exact rules on that.
Yeah.
Talking about the roaming between access points, we used that at Cluton a couple weeks ago, and it seemed to work quite well with the Unify Pros.
Yes, so that's what I'm running. Were you running in 2.4 or 5 or both?
We were running both, I believe.
I think you were.
How was
I didn't actually set it up.
and what was how densely arranged were your APs? Like, were they more densely arranged than you would otherwise had, or?
Yeah, they were fairly densely arranged for a conference where you had 200 geeks in a basically 3,000 or 4,000 square foot room.
Yeah, right. That's amazing.
So in that room, we had 4 APs in that room, and then we had 2 or 3 more APs spread out along the hall that was probably 50 foot wide by probably 300 foot long. And it seemed to work quite well. We had some early issues with APs crashing, but we did a firmware update and rearranged it a little bit, and then it started working quite well. I think the only real issues that we had, which we addressed with PFSense, was people abusing the network with things like BitTorrent.
Oh, I see. So you just put a policy on it?
Yeah, we set really long leases on the DHCP server and just blocked IPs for a little while, and that seemed to let people get the message.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a little passive aggressive, but
sure.
Got the idea that BitTorrent shuts down their IPs pretty quick, like.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, of course. At a conference like that, you run the risk of somebody spoofing their Mac.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it seemed to work. It seemed to work pretty good. And from a conference perspective, I've done like networks for like Hope, which is the East Coast variant from Eric Corley of DEF CON. And we did not have the level of technology when I was doing that. And we deployed things like the old school WRT 54Gs, and those things were just blowing up left and right all over the place. Yeah. But and even at ClueCon, we've had in years past we've had the same issues, just using that kind of stuff. But the Ubiquity Pro stuff, it was a little touch and go on Monday and early Tuesday morning as we were getting more and more people on the network. But once we played with it for a minute and got it figured out, it was actually stabilized quite well. And then I think the biggest issue that we ran into was one access point near the entrance doors seemed to like grab everybody as they walked through the door and didn't want to hand them off, but we got that figured out where it would spread people out better. And
I see.
It worked quite well. I think the biggest thing that we ran into, though, was just lack of bandwidth in the hotel because we only had 15 megabit to share between really 200 people.
Right.
Just using PFSense and the Alt-Q traffic shaping that's built in seemed to work quite well.
I see. Yep.
Hey,
Ken. It seems to me that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask Ken, since you're here and you sound good. First of all, since we were talking about Black Hat with Maxim and getting the YouTube channel, are you speaking of ClueCon? In other words, are videos up, and where can people go to look at that? That would be my first question.
The videos are not up yet. In fact, I have 2 machines processing video as we speak. We actually are post-processing all the video because we have about 5 camera angles.
I'm sure.
And so we're post-processing that right now. And the videos will be going up, onesie-twosie onto YouTube, and they will be posted and linked off of ClueCon.com as they come online. So they're actually post-processing right now, and rendering out. So it's nice to read video. It actually worked out quite well.
So
to what end are you post-processing? Have you edited them or just cutting them down? Or
yeah, we're cutting them down and adding some overlays so that when people when you pull up one of the videos, you'll know that it's so like we had, for instance, John Riordan from OnSIP, and we had Simon from Simwood. So when you're watching their videos, we have a nice lower third overlay for all those guys, and we're adding that in and trimming the videos down for the talks. And we also recorded some of the post-processing is being done because we recorded their slides in real time with their audio straight off the board. So we're merging that all together, so I don't have to sit here and figure out when to flip to the next slide and keep that manually in track.
I knew you were doing some crazy stuff.
We're doing a fair bit of post-project.
I knew you were doing some crazy stuff, and that's why I asked you the question, because I knew that there would, theoretically, there should be some really quality stuff coming out of that. And my second question, because I'm channeling Carl Fife today, is you guys are doing something right after this, right? You have some kind of conference going on that Andy mentioned?
Yeah, well, on Fridays after the VUC, we were doing our Friday bug hunt. We've moved that to Thursday, and following the VUC on conference. You can just go to conference.freeswitch.org with your with your WebRTC enabled browser, and we're doing the Friday free for all, which is general community discussions. May or may not be about FreeSwitch. It's more akin to the after the recorded part of the VUC. And everybody's welcome to join. We do have PSTN access, or you can just go call via SIP to 888 at conference.freeswitch.org and join us, and we hang out afternoon answering questions, chatting about whatever.
And that will be in 3D audio, will it not?
That is, if you call in, it is actually in 3D audio, as James mentioned. If you call in with, you really want to use Chrome, and when you go to conference.freeswitch.org, down at the very bottom is a little checkbox that says stereo. If you check that box and you're using good stereo headphones, we have positional audio on the conference bridge. So it may steer, let's say, James Bodie to the left-hand side, and if Randy's there, it steers him to the right-hand side.
How is the positioning determined, Ken?
It's not 3D audio.
Wait, Michael. So just is it random, or is it how does that work?
It's for the sake of general uses, it is random, but there are controls so that we could steer people around if we wanted to move from one side or the other.
Okay.
Yeah,
so Michael,
it was. I thought that technology was patent encumbered by Apple.
As far as I know, it's not. We're using an open source gaming library for doing this.
I see. Maybe they have some subtle twist on it.
The 3D audio, 3D tag. I mean, I think what we understood was that people are on different sides of the stereo, right?
Right. Well, what it does is it steers people left or right on the sound stage.
Can you be up and down as well?
What?
I'm sorry, what was that, James?
Can you put them over your head?
Can you put them up there? Or in my case,
that's probably why it's not 3D.
Not quite as 3D as we want. Right. It's 2D audio. It's definitely not 1D audio.
Can I ask you a question about that? Is the positioning for every individual consistent across the people who called in? So in other words, if I say the comment made by the gentleman on the left, everyone will know what I'm talking about?
No.
Exactly.
No, that's not.
Yes, it is. Everybody gets the same field of audio if you're in stereo.
Cool.
Now, if you're in mono, you actually get a different stream that's all down mixed to audio and bridged that way.
But those people say things like, "What the hell are you talking about, guy on the left?"
Yeah, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the person who was on the middle channel who asked.
Right. But,
okay. There's no vertical.
We also have the capability. Right. Yeah. There's no vertical component.
I'm gonna guess though.
There's also another interesting thing.
Go ahead.
Did you see that microphone that Tony had that looked like a pair of ears when he was on the VUC a few weeks back?
Yeah.
If you take a microphone like that and you stick it in the middle of a conference room table, you can actually, for that caller, disable the positional audio. And what it'll do is, instead of trying to force that mic into one location or the other, it'll actually take the raw stereo feed from the left and from the right and mix those into the left and the right channels that you're getting back. So if you're sitting around a conference table, you actually get the effect with this microphone in the middle. You actually can hear people pretty much where they're sitting at the conference room table. And it works quite well.
But it's a proper binaural microphone. That's a nice piece of kit.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's not exactly a low-cost component for a microphone. And it does work quite well. And there's been, over the past couple of weeks, there's been some really good improvements. For anybody that wasn't at ClueCon, Tony did a dangerous demo for TruePhone's Dangerous Demos demonstrating this, where he was actually playing music via the conference bridge in wideband audio. And we were piping it out the PA system there at the conference, which also supported stereo. And it sounded, pretty much like we were just listening to music. You could not tell that it was coming through the conference bridge until Tony purposely crashed the conference bridge and then brought it back online to demonstrate call recovery in stereo environment, playing really nice music.
Yeah, I understand that Tony was upset that he didn't win a prize, but the reason he didn't win a prize was it wasn't quite dangerous enough, because everybody knows that Tony is an absolute wizard with these things, and he was not even shaking or anything. There's no risk there whatsoever.
No, it was the front end on it has. We're still working out the bugs on the front end JavaScript client library. And with the changes that Chrome and Firefox are rolling in almost on a regular basis now, you never know when they're going to break it, unfortunately. We actually had one that Chrome pretty much broke everybody's WebRTC stuff if they were not talking to another Chrome probably 3 weeks ago, where they forced a minimum key size for DTLS. And when they did that, they pretty much broke everybody else's implementation. So we had to fix stuff like that on a regular basis.
Yeah, I have to say here that having both used the conference and seen it demonstrated and used the conference with variable number of people in it, the way that it reallocates positions for the different people as they come and leave the conference is really quite impressive. If you effectively think of it as 180 degrees in front of you, what it does is that initially you'll get what if it's just two people talking, the person's in the middle. If it's three people, it just divides 180 degrees and places them within that arc. So the more people you get in, more or less, they're all sitting next to each other in the room, and it's quite impressive the way that works. So the experience is a good one.
Did I mention that there are 19 people on ZipDX, and 4 of them are Carl, and 3 of them are Ken? So
there should only be one of Ken on ZipDX.
Well,
I've only called in one time.
Oh yeah,
I'm confused about why I'm in there 4 times. I've been jumping in and out, so I'm in there. I'm in there twice, bona fide.
A whole bunch
the other 2 I don't understand.
Zombies there, Carl.
Interesting. I thought zombies weren't real,
but there are no.
Gonna have to rethink that.
There are no
I'm sorry,
zombies
I'm not called
for others.
Right. Yeah, but no, I think it would be really interesting if, as from an application perspective, for somebody like ZipDX or just to throw them out there because they do conferencing, to leverage on the UI when you have conference participants that are doing stereo, you could literally, because you can control the position of the person in audio, you can literally match that to the screen on, say, like a customer UI, where you can see the person called in matched with their caller ID, either on the left side or the right side of your screen, and actually match that up to where the audio is coming out in the headset for positional awareness. And so that's just one, that's probably a low-hanging fruit kind of thing, but it's just one easy idea.
This is dead common. This is dead common in the normal scope of big room telepresence, where you have an array of 9 people looking at 3 big screens, and normally the audio from the speaker will tend to emanate from the screen where they're being positioned. So it's fairly normal.
Right.
On a computer screen, though, it's a little harder. I mean, I have 2 24-inch screens in front of me. It's a little harder to kind of find a context, and I'm unusual in terms of like ZipDX customers are oftentimes not looking at something visual. It's more of a video conferencing thing. On the other hand, where I see tremendous value is in podcasting, because I'm hearing all these podcasts that are simple mono and they're sort of collapsed in between your ears. And I think if you're doing a panel discussion in stereo, I think it will make for a much better podcast.
Right. Well, I think it also really helps out on just simple audio conference calls when you have more than just 2 or 3 people in there, because now what ends up happening is with stereo, there's so much more information there. You can actually tell and really pick out conversations when 2 people are talking, because one's coming in your left ear, one's coming in your right ear, and your brain can just figure it out. Where if it's down mixed to mono, you lose all the intelligence there, and it's like, yeah, whoa, shut up, everybody talk at the same time. And so it actually helps in that scenario some. And I think a fair bit. You can actually start discerning those side conversations now. And we have discussed doing some things like as somebody is less and less active on a conference call, using this library, actually moving them further back from the front row, which is literally a little more than attenuating their audio stream. But there's all kinds of ideas floating around on how that could be applied to different things.
Yeah, I've actually invited a German company to come and talk to us. They do a media engine that's basically a spatial audio media engine for telephony, and they were also the CEO of the company was one of the leading voices on the Opus committee at the IATF. So we shall see.
That'd be quite interesting.
Yeah. Of course, the big fish in that pond is Dolby with BTS's Dolby Voice binaural conferencing service, but I'm not exactly sure who to talk to. James, do you know anybody over there, over at BT Conferencing, that might be willing to talk to us?
I know people at BT Martlesham Heath, and I suspect that's where their conferencing is hatched up. I'd have to dig, but yeah, I can probably find somebody for you.
Okay.
We got noise coming off ZipDX.
We got noise. We got sounds like blood pumping.
There's another Carl Fife joining.
The 5th Carl Fife?
Now, I didn't want to have to tell you guys this, but Carl is actually my minion. and that's just his multiple little clones joining.
I need to find this to show the internet. Just a second. As soon as I...
Well, what we need is the awesome song, because that was the song of ClueCon 2014, wasn't it?
Look,
everything awesome.
This is the Internet of Stings. Let me put that up there. So
Where?
Internet of Stings.
Message in a bottle. You know, he lives just over in the next valley from us.
Yeah. A bottle of what? Hendrix? No? A bottle of Sipsmith.
Yeah. Sipsmith, yeah.
Sipsmith. All right. Enough of that. Oh, what happened? It didn't go away.
So how many Carl Fifes does it take to change a light bulb? No, I mean, this is... What's going on, Carl? You're coming and going, and I now see
another one?
6. I now see 6, or is there 8? Or what?
I keep exiting and rejoining with a SIP client. Sometimes I exit because I get booted because I'm dinking around with my Wi-Fi. Other times I exit legitimately by hanging up the call, which I would suspect would be sending a kill signal to the remote client.
Why are you a zombie?
Let me give you.
Look at all those Carl Fives. There's 6 of them now.
Okay, I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna *6 mute my 2 active sessions. You can kill off all the others.
I've gone through a month or 2 ago. I went through a process of sort of trying to validate Bria 4 with ZipDX, and it actually took me a bit of time because the specific settings you have to get everything to work right are not particularly obvious, and I can walk you through that. In fact, I was actually waiting on a new release of Bria from Counterpath that's due next week, because there's a sort of a quirky sluggishness in the one that runs on my Windows 7 box that they were able to track down after I PCAP'd and sent them some traffic.
Still there, Carl?
I see two Carl Fifes joining in parallel.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah, that's legit. That's legit. I'm connected once so that I can be on the call, and another time so that I can dink around with all my little testing.
Okay.
So two is the appropriate number of Carls. Yeah, stereo.
If you like, I can send you. If you're registering directly with ZipDX, I could send you the screenshot library of how I had set mine up to make it work. Because it was exacting, and to get it to handle the SIP reinvite potentials, and any attempt to use their stun turn ice whatever was fruitless.
I see. So I'm calling with my Asterisk server, which is on a public IP address, so it doesn't have any need for that. And I've never had that particular trouble before. This feels new to me.
Well, this is like I'm saying. This is registering ZipDX or registering Bria directly with ZipDX was what I was documenting.
I see. So I'm calling my Asterisk server. Well, I should say my ZipDX client is registered to my Asterisk server on the local Ethernet broadcast domain, and the Asterisk switch is multi-homed, so it's registering on the public internet, and then it's taking registrations only on the LAN interface, and so it's functioning effectively as a back-to-back user agent. So I've never had, and the other thing is I use ISN to dial, which is very convenient, but it's sadly dead.
So what's the ISN for ZipDX?
What's the what? The ISN is 929.
929. So ZDZ, is that? ZDX.
Is that accurate? Oh, it depends on. Oh yeah. Well, it depends on your telephone. Some put Q and Z on the 0, and others spread them across 7 and 9. Nortel famously puts them on 0, which I think is a bad convention.
Very bad.
As for the Hangout and the live audio, I think things could move over to the free switch free-for-all today. We're over an hour now. Anybody have anything they want to add to this that will be put onto the feed?
Very, very briefly, I talked to Chris Matthew on the way back from Chicago, and he was at some kind of Internet of Things event in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the video from that. But I've put a link to one of his earlier attempts where he's tracking heartbeats with geolocation, just for a laugh. And if you look at that photograph of him, what do you think? Is he going for the ZZ Top look or what?
I haven't seen him lately, but two of the guys from ZZ Top live within a mile or two of my house here.
That's really funny.
So, Tuesday, October... Wait a minute, what is this? Tuesday, October 21st. How did we get into October? VUC.
I have to ask Michael whether ZZ Top, whether those guys drive those cool chop Fords around, you know.
They collect them. I haven't seen many of them driving around town, but there's a brand new restaurant that opened up only about 3 weeks ago called the El Superior Cantina, and it is entirely decorated with ZZ Top tour memorabilia and gold albums and the like.
Awesome.
Yeah, Friday.
I assume they're equity partners in that?
No, they're not.
Friday, August 29th.
You know,
book called WebRTC Blueprints. Then September 5th, VUC 505 Squiggle with Tom Moore.
Squiggle.
Squiggle. 506 Possible, but in fact this is fixed. September 12th, Stun, Ice and Turn with Tim Panton and several others, and the rest of the
Good old Tim.
dates are free. I'd like to terminate this. I mean, you guys can obviously do the mature audiences thing, but there's no point in dragging things on that level on the
Can I just add one thing before
absolutely. And that was my point. Was if anybody's got anything actual to say that should go on the feed, go for it.
Particularly because this will go onto YouTube as a recording. I'd just like to say thank you very much to the Free Switch team for last week for ClueCon. It was excellent. Truly the best ClueCon so far. Well, the only one I've been to, but lots of people said that. So well done, guys. That was really good. Keep it up. Thank you.
It was the best one I've been to, and I've been to quite a few.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Ken, and thanks to everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to everybody. We're going to I'm going to terminate the audio recording first. So if you guys are listening on Mixler, time to move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Conference.freeswitch.org.
There you go. Conference.freeswitch.org. Noted. And for the Hangout, we need to terminate this so that it will be published, hopefully, because the last one never was published. Conference.freeswitch.org, and then call 888, Ken tells us.
Did nobody ever answer on that? That's annoying.
On what?
The live event not...
No, I haven't gotten anything yet. There used to be somebody there that cared, and now nobody gives a crap.
And I hunted around and tried to find a third-party way to download it, as there used to be, but in that one particular instance, it just doesn't seem to be allowable.
Well, I think there's... Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not even... All right, anyway, we need to stop... the broadcast, so I'm going to do that right now.